The aim of this tutorial is to show how changes of scale propagate through the construction view box. If I change the baseline width to 400, you'll notice that the base section changes to not be a square anymore. I'm aiming in this tutorial to make a box twice the size, but which has exactly the same shape. If you really want to do this in practice, it's much better to do it in your CAD program, because then the illustrations will remain at the same scale as the box. If we did it with this method, which is quite laborious, then we still have to rescale our illustrations in Flexi. So let's start by making this base section remain square. We do this by setting this constant aspect ratio flag. If we do that and double the size, then we find that these sections are no longer square. So I need to set the flags on those as well. I must go back to 200, however, because otherwise they'll be locked as being 2:1 aspect ratio rather than as 1:1. Okay, retrying that. We now see that this section has become non-square, so we need to be a bit more thorough with our squareness flags, and we need also to maintain the shapes of the folding flaps and also of the glue flaps. Okay, now we should have a situation where doubling the size of the baseline doubles the size of everything else. And if we go into our 3D view, it's all bigger and sort of, well, it still folds up and like so into a cube. Now there is one slight problem, however, which if I change this to really big, you can appreciate, which is that the chamfers and the ends of the glue folds have become much straighter. So these much straighter and these much smaller. So going back to 200 before we try to doing anything. In order to fix that problem, what we've got to do is to change the stretch properties of the points in this section. The little arrows here tell us that this point is locked to the top and to the left edge of this section as it changes size. If I go in here, I can choose to make the points proportional to the section, so that this one will remain at roughly a third of the way between here and here when the section size changes. You've got 9 possible options there for each point. So if I select points by using drag, left click and drag, and also with shift and click options, I can select any set of points and change their stretch options. Okay, so Changing these ones to proportional. Proportional. It's quite a laborious process. We could have done it before we actually duplicated the sections, of course. So we select them first. Proportional. Proportional. And finally, we hope right, finally. So now if I change that to 400, I think that looks about right. So going to 3D and yep, I think that's about right. And so we'll make that really big. And fold it up again. And of course you notice that the illustration is completely the wrong scale now, as was suggested at the beginning of this tutorial.